If your dog used to come to you first but suddenly stops, it can feel subtle at first. But that small change often means more than most people realize. Most owners don't notice when it begins because the shift is gradual and not immediate. Your dog still stays around you and still responds, but something feels slightly different. That difference is not random because it reflects a change in how your dog is interpreting you. Dogs don't suddenly change behavior without a reason, and they adjust based on patterns. Those patterns come from repeated interactions over time rather than a single moment. When your dog stops coming to you first, it usually means something in that pattern has shifted. That shift doesn't have to be dramatic because it can be small and almost invisible. But to your dog, it is noticeable, and that is what matters most. Dogs are highly sensitive to consistency and rely on it to understand what to expect. When that consistency changes even slightly, they respond in ways that reflect that shift. Sometimes that response is hesitation, and other times it becomes distance. In this case, it often shows as a delay in approaching you first. Your dog is not avoiding you completely, but they are adjusting their behavior based on what they feel. That adjustment is tied to how predictable you feel to them in that moment. Predictability creates confidence, and confidence drives approach behavior naturally. When your dog feels confident, they come to you first without hesitation. When that confidence shifts, their behavior changes in subtle but consistent ways. And that consistency is what reveals the meaning behind the behavior. Because this behavior rarely happens in isolation, it connects to other small moments. Those moments begin to form a bigger pattern that reflects how your dog sees you. At first, you may not notice anything unusual because your dog still interacts normally. But small changes begin to appear in moments where your dog hesitates instead of moving toward you. That hesitation is important because it is where the shift becomes visible. Dogs do not hesitate without a reason, and hesitation reflects a moment of evaluation. They are checking something before they act, even if it is not obvious. That check is based on what they expect from you in that situation. If what they expect feels unclear, they pause before making a decision. And that pause changes how they respond to you. Instead of coming directly to you, they may wait or move differently. Sometimes they let you come to them instead of initiating contact. This is not a conscious decision but a behavioral adjustment. That adjustment is based on repeated experiences over time. Your dog is responding to how interactions have been unfolding consistently. Not just once, but across many moments that shape expectation. This is why the behavior feels subtle and difficult to pinpoint. It builds slowly and becomes noticeable only when it repeats. Once it repeats, it becomes a pattern rather than a one-time action. And patterns are what give behavior meaning. Because your dog is not reacting randomly, they are responding to what they have learned. That learning shapes how they choose to engage with you. Not all dogs show this change in the same way, and each dog adjusts differently. Some become slower to approach, while others stop initiating interaction altogether. The behavior varies, but the underlying pattern remains consistent. A shift in approach behavior reflects a shift in perception. Your dog is not just reacting to you, but interpreting you in real time. That interpretation is shaped by consistency and predictability. When your behavior feels clear, your dog moves toward you naturally. When it feels less clear, they adjust their response accordingly. That adjustment often means waiting rather than initiating, or choosing not to come to you first in that moment. This is where most people misunderstand what is happening. They assume the dog is being stubborn or independent. In reality, the dog is responding to uncertainty rather than rejecting interaction. And uncertainty changes behavior more than anything else. Because dogs rely on clarity to decide how to act in any situation. When clarity is reduced, behavior shifts in subtle ways. Those subtle shifts appear first as hesitation and reduced initiative. Over time, they become consistent patterns. What makes this behavior important is not how obvious it is in one moment. It is how consistently it appears across similar situations. Patterns are what give behavior meaning rather than isolated actions. When your dog repeatedly stops coming to you first, that pattern becomes clear. Once it becomes clear, it becomes something you can begin to understand. Most people miss this because they focus on individual moments instead of patterns. Dogs communicate through repetition rather than dramatic signals. They show the same adjustment again and again in similar contexts. That repetition builds meaning over time in a way that is easy to overlook. Your dog is not randomly changing behavior, but responding to a learned expectation. That expectation includes your movement, your timing, and your consistency. When those elements shift, your dog adapts their behavior. And that adaptation becomes part of their normal response pattern. Not temporary, but something that repeats over time. Which is why it becomes important to notice early. Because once a pattern forms, it continues unless something changes. Over time, this is where the behavior becomes easier to recognize and more predictable. It stops feeling random and starts feeling structured and consistent. You begin to notice when your dog chooses not to come to you first and what happens just before it. That awareness changes how you interpret the behavior completely. Your dog is not reacting only to the moment, but also to what they expect from you. That expectation is built slowly through repeated interactions over time. When those interactions feel stable and consistent, your dog approaches confidently. When they feel less consistent, your dog adjusts their behavior. That adjustment often shows up as hesitation or reduced initiative. It may also appear as a shift in who starts the interaction. This is not about your dog becoming distant or disconnected. It is about your dog becoming more selective in how they engage. That selectivity reflects how they are interpreting your behavior. Because your dog is not just responding to what you do, but what they expect. And once that expectation changes, their behavior follows naturally. Not suddenly, but gradually over time. Because your dog is not simply choosing not to come to you first. They are responding to what they have learned about how interactions with you unfold.